Hi, my name's Rachel. Welcome to Sober Banter. I have Eryka. You are co-founder of Namari, and I'm already excited to order one. It is a revolutionary. It is a non-alcoholic digestif, and it speaks to the rebels, the creatives, and the complex individuals who are redefining life without booze. You've been sober since January 4th, 2021. We are 2021, class of 2021. And you bring in this vibrant energy with Namari that you have co-founded. And welcome to Sober Banter.
Thank you. Super grateful to be here and have the opportunity to share space and connect with you and also connect with folks that bless your podcast with time. And so I'm grateful to be here and share space.
Same, very grateful. I've met I think that's the most serendipitous part of this podcast is I never thought that we would have guests. Like, I think if I can go back to our first recordings, I'm like, yeah, like anyone will want to banter with us. And we have just met the coolest people. And I think the one thing I really love is no one has the same way of getting sober. There are so many different ways. How did you go about getting sober 4 days after New Year's in 2021?
I believe I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And that's usually when divine timing happens and things bless us. And so dry January was something that I have practiced for tons of years, probably over like 10, 15 years. And dry January evolved. I think about 8 years or so ago, I started also, regardless of not drinking, I also chose to take away a certain consumption of type of food. So let's say you could say like no sugar as well, or no animal products or whatnot. And so that would be in addition to. And then another habit would be no consumption of caffeine. And so dry January had evolved into that. And so when it came down to pick that dry January, I did the combination of vegan, so no animal products at all, no alcohol, and no caffeine. And when dry January was over, I felt the lightest internally that I ever have in my life. And I felt some of the cleanest energy that I've ever felt transmit through me. And I felt, in a way, very grateful to be able to feel what I was feeling and didn't want to question it. And I just kept believing in it.
For dry January, did you end up drinking on the first couple days and you say the fourth, or is the fourth like your intention day where it like really was meant where you meant
I
it?
always start on the Monday of the January. So I would do the whole 31 days. I
Oh.
still went into February, but I always started on that Monday because I love a good kiki and party. And there's no way in hell I was going to start my New Year's early and just be on like the first led to the second. It would always be that Monday when I would ground down, 10 toes down, no more liquor.
So did you know in that January 21 that it was gonna end up being this long?
Absolutely. Nope.
No. And every year before, yeah, I could never make it. I could never make it through a dry January. I white knuckled a whole 30 and I drank like at midnight on the 31st day, and it was sad. And it was like right before we got sober. I just remember I wasn't even excited for food. I felt great too. And then I was like, how can I come ruin this as soon as I can?
No, I don't. I have always believed that if I want to do something, I can do it. And so I had never wanted to stop drinking. That's just dry January is part of like a ritual practice I did just to recheck in. It had nothing to do specifically with liquor even or alcohol or whatever we want to label it. It was more just checking in on my consumption and always making sure nothing has power over me, because if something has that much power over me, then there was going to need to be a check in, even with like caffeine, things like that. And so I had no intention. It was another dry January, but the high that I felt was the best high that I had ever felt. And I had clarity and just awareness in that moment to know, like, nah, I'm not going to have a drink. I'm not going to go back to the same eating habits either. From that day on, I also have never had animal products again.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I've gone vegan a few times. So you just like ripped off band-aids.
Yeah, I just did it, and I feel that the items that I was consuming, whether it be like the books I was reading, the water, the new type of food that I was consuming, I believe that, the energy in it just was very different than whatever I was consuming prior. I think that energy has a lot to do with what we consume too, like how it was made, why it was made, what's its purpose and its impact upon us beyond just, the physical aspect. And so I just that high was so great, and I've never looked back because the high is phenomenal. The lightness, more than just like physical weight. It's this internal weight. It's also this lightness to be able to grieve and feel sadness when the world is in the places it is, or I am impacted by certain things. There's lightness around how I encounter sadness versus the heaviness that I used to feel with the habits of consumption I had.
Well, now I'm also curious, what kind of drinker were you?
I mean, I was
Were you binge or were you just all the time, 24/7? Sounds like you're pretty in tune with yourself.
I was a drinker that it was a part of my identity. And I think when things are part of my identity, that's like an ego. The more we attach ourselves to things of our ego, it's like we're further from our true selves. We're further from our spirituality and whatever God you may believe in. Ego to me stands for edging God out. And so the more you over identify with that happens. And I was just like a obnoxious drinker, just like obnoxious, thinking it was classy and cute, drinking all the best drinks. Whether it was a night of 1942, whether it was a night of bottle service, whether it was a night of 6 bottles of natural wine, whatever it was obnoxious. It was cute while it was there and it lasted, but that's what it was. I just over identified with that part of me. I mean, when people have nicknames for you that involve your habits, I think that is because I am over identifying with that habit.
Wow, that's a really good insight, which I'm so glad that my habit now is like people associate me with being sober because I never thought I'd get sober. And I think it's so cool that being in line with yourself, being able to check in. I don't even think I could do that till year 1. I was just detoxing, I guess, from the booze. Like I was so scared to go inward. Meditation was scary. God, I love meditation now. I could meditate. Oh my, I just love it. And Eckhart Tolle, I've like, you remind me so much of his book of like, we're experiencing these things and how we're feeling the light. And there had to have come a moment where you're like, maybe I do like the drink and I don't like the alcohol. So is that, how did you start your non-alcoholic digestif? I was like, it's not a wine. I want to order some already. So I plan to. I was really tried to see if I could get it today.
We got to get you some.
I looked at the stores. I was like, I wonder if, and I felt so weird going on to an alcohol site. And a there are like 3 non-alcoholic stores in Dallas and they're all closed Sunday and Monday. And I was like, old habits die hard, y'all. Like
Uh,
we're still like, yeah, F Monday.
yeah, that's interesting. The way Namari came about is just a part in the bigger journey, just like the way I stopped drinking is just part of a bigger journey. Like sometimes people see milestones in your life and even ourselves, we tend to focus or isolate an incident versus open it up because when we isolate it, we really minimize the jerk. And so not drinking was part of a journey that had started probably like 10 years ago when certain consumptions of drugs or other things were happening and my body was physically feeling things and now I have health problems that I need to find solutions for. And we're never aware of our health until we have a health problem. We're never aware of heartbreak until our heart breaks. And so the journey led me there, and the way Namari happened is, I hadn't been drinking, I think, for a few years already. Yeah, because this is 2021 and we're in 2025, so it had been already like maybe 2 years and a half, 3 years. I've tasted like everything that exists that is non-alcoholic. And again, I believe things have energy. So I'm a person that's like, who's the founders? Who's the investors? I come from the fintech world. I come from the coffee world. And I'm very familiar with great products, but people behind great products that don't align with my morals or the way I would like to impact the world. And so I'm very cognizant of what I consume from that point too. So I always look into products, who's an investor, who owns it, what's it made from, what are these ingredients? Because look, if I'm not going to do all that, then I might as well be binge drinking. I might as well be consuming things that poison me because there are still things that are not alcohol that are not great for my system or my energy or how I move in this world. And so there's a lot of things I had tasted. I really wasn't keen to many of the items. They were, at times over formulated, had a lot of things that I didn't know what they were, that I needed to Google, had things for color, just a lot of stuff. And so there were things I loved. I was a early athletic adopter too. I loved athletic beer and it was great. And so there's good stuff that was impacting the world, but it was very slim to none. And I'll never forget, I was at this beautiful restaurant in Ojai, and I saw this beautiful beverage on the menu, and they made it in-house, and I tasted it, and I was like, "What is this? What is this? What's in it? Who makes it?" Like, all the questions flew out. It was very magical when you taste great things and they come from a great place. You can taste the energy and love that people put into things. And so go to find out it was Brittany, which is our founder. She was making this in-house. She was doing great things. The rest is pretty history after that. It was a beautiful product that she was making because she missed not having a good Amaro, which I agree with. And as a drinker, again, that I said I'd like to keep it classy and cute when I was drinking. You wouldn't catch me drinking things. Even if I did want to drink, you weren't going to catch me drinking something that to me was not going to be with the vibe or, cute or out there. I needed to drink something that vibed with my aesthetics. And so when I drank this, I could taste quality, I could taste the love, I could also taste the knowledge. Like I was like, damn, whoever is making this knows what the hell they're doing. They're not just someone that wanted to make some NA beverage. There's someone that like knows Amaro. And yeah, she's incredible. She's a genius. I call her an alchemist. I don't think I've met many people in the NA industry that have her type of background and take the time in a product to make it from farm to bottle.
That's amazing. You can tell when you drink something and it like hits you, maybe even like the kids' lemonade stands too. You see they're so cute and you're like, the lemonade it's made with heart and love and they're so
I love that you say that. That's actually a very good analogy. There are kids, I live right here on the beach, and during the summer, there's some kids that sell it and they fresh squeeze the lemonade right there. They make it, they're showing you. They like love what they're making. They're even sipping their own cup. They're selling. It's like the
They're so
whole
good.
experience and the proudness and like everything. I definitely think you can taste it. I come from the coffee world. There is nothing more precious than a single origin coffee that you can just taste the love that the farmers have put into those beans. And I think that remembering where things come from, our land, and how people go about getting those items from our land and giving gratitude for the things we get from our land and how it got into our plate or our bottle is very essential. And I think we often skip over that part of the cycle and we just like go straight into consumption and giving things to like the person we bought it from.
100%. Yeah. And it sucks because like those lemonade stands are adorable. But if you were to look at profit margins, man, it's tough because corporate will take it over and be like, I'm going to buy out that lemonade stand. And it's like, so you just took all the love away. Like that was,
Yeah, you brought up that word.
it wasn't
Corporate capitalism.
you took it away and it's hard to not. And I've lately been considering, I'm like, yeah, we're a small podcast. I'm in my dining room. Like this is not some studio. And when I was reading about you just have a very authentic, raw vibe. And I think I got away from that on the podcast a little bit because someone made a comment about my interviewing.
Oh.
And since then, I've been so focused on the interview. The point of the podcast is to be raw, is to be honest.
Absolutely. And did you welcome?
I was like, if someone were
a feedback, I'm like wondering, did you ask for feedback?
No, well, one of them was someone really nice, just saying the talking over, not pausing, not slowing down. I was just excited, to be honest. I'm like, someone wants to talk to me. I didn't even care.
Yeah, and I want to say like it's not about perfection. It's about progress and process, and also like be yourself. Don't subscribe to what people see. That is their perception, and maybe they prefer spaces where they're very rigid in dialogue and things like that, but it is okay to banter.
Yeah, and that's where I was just thinking today. I'm like, honestly, if it was like, how are you doing today? I was going to be like, yeah, I'm having a case of the effing Mondays. Nothing seems to have gone right today other than right now. And I said, you know what? I know the minute I connect with another person who is not drinking, that used to drink the way I drink, it's going to get better, because that's the secret. But I will not pick up the phone and reach out and be like, hey, I'm having a case of the Mondays. Instead, I'm like, well, thank God I had a podcast interview, because otherwise it would have been my husband till I got home. And I don't know why we do that. I don't know if you do that.
Definitely not. I used to. I used to definitely self-isolate. I mean, isolating, I am naturally a self-preservation type of person, meaning that's the energy I really tap into, but I can over index in there. And that's where like I'm here in my home, content journaling about my grief or content journaling about a struggle. And those things work, they do. But we have community all around, and it is up to us to tap into it. And me working through my shame is what keeps me from connecting with people. Shame is what keeps me in isolation. Shame is the ego telling me like I'm not, shouldn't share my problems, like I should uphold perfectionism. And no, that's a lie. Like it is okay to call my friend and be like, you were dismissive last week with like me, and that hurt my feelings, and I just needed to share that with you. And also like sharing that I have boundaries, or sharing that the latest policy that is attacking an intersection of mine is really heavy, and I can tap into community and say those things. And community is my chosen family, and it's a beautiful thing to have chosen family and create those safe spaces and trust those people, and not let the shame get in the way, or past experiences where my trust has been broken, and label all people like that.
Yeah, 100%. I think I definitely relate a lot to the past experience part too. Although the more time I get sober, I don't know that my memories are as accurate as I might have felt them to be, because a lot of times, well, I was drinking. How do you find your spaces? Like this sound, I want to move right now. Like I'm like, the Bay sounds awesome, because and Texas does. There's so much. There's great people here. Sounds like you have a very great, strong community around you. How'd you find it?
I mean, I think the more we ground into ourselves and we know ourselves, and we can look in the mirror, or we can look into our heart, or we can look into our soul and face the ugly, the beautiful, the cringy, like every part of ourselves, and accept. The more we accept ourselves, we can find spaces that accept us. The more like I hide parts of myself, I will find not so genuine connections, because I'm not showing up as myself. And so for me, the Bay Area is a safe space on a lot of levels. It has its own issues, of course, like every place. But again, it's never going to be about perfection. If that was the goal, then I'd have to want to be powerful and greedy and not care about anyone else, because that's the only way perfection can be upheld. But for me, it was the Bay Area is safe on a lot of my identity. I don't, for the most part, have to worry who's going to be looking, or am I different in this way, or am I not, fitting this sort of neighborhood or this or that. There's going to be those things that already gives me a sense of belonging. The other part is being able to have friends that just care about who I am, not what career I have, not what I own, not all these materialistic things, but they care about what I'm doing like in life, like how I feel, how did my day go? What did you do today that made you feel joy? What gave you peace? I have people like that around me, and I've found them on dance floors. I've found them in nights I blacked out, and we have just stuck together and have came out on the other side of things. But there were deeper things that connected us than drinks, and some of them don't drink anymore. And I have a couple of close friends that sip what they want to sip, and that's okay too. Like not everyone has to mirror me. It's not about finding mini me's everywhere too, because then we forget to diversify our way of thinking or approaching things. And so that's really important to me.
That's beautiful. It's a really good way to like ask yourself, what do you align with this? I think I said that on the podcast at one point, that when asked in early sobriety, what's my favorite type of food? I don't think I knew because I never cared about the food. I just, wherever the drinks were. And it really, the first time we went to a nice dinner and also got the bill. And I was like, are you sure this is right? Like, oh, where's the $150 worth of alcohol? Like, that's crazy. And the food tastes so good. And I was just, why have I been just diluting this? It made me question a lot of the relationships. I lost a lot of people when I got sober because a lot of my friends, well, I shouldn't say lost, but it became very aware of who was there for just another person to drink with when I got sober. And it's a hard lesson. Yeah. Did you experience that at all? Or?
Uh, I experienced my own shame, the stories I made up in my head. Fear of rejection is a huge thing for me. And I believe that fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And I have to remind myself of that. And so these stories, when I first stopped drinking, I had a very, very lovely social life. And thank the damn community I still do, just in different places. But I had a very great social life in the nightclubs and great music places and nice restaurants, which I still do them. They're just differently. And so I think I had this like huge fear of rejection that I'd go hang out with my friend and they were gonna be like, just stare at me. Like some weird, like, what's happening? Or do you want, our usual, oh my gosh, Erica brought this amazing bottle over of wine. We're gonna crack it open. What am I gonna take now? Like this amazing bottle of mineral water, which I mean is good too. And I love doing that too. It was more of that. And I think the more I leaned into the discomfort, and for me, discomfort, I've always been uncomfortable since I left my house as a child to kindergarten. I realized just how different I was in a lot of ways. And so I've always been uncomfortable. So I'm kind of like used to being uncomfortable. I'm usually the one in the lonely and the only in a lot of corporate spaces. There's a lot of things. But I've learned that being uncomfortable and feeling safe is okay. Now, being uncomfortable and not feeling safe, that's a whole nother topic for another day. But learning that that discomfort was going to help me grow. Like I was safe. It was going to, what's the worst that can happen? It is awkward. Me and my friend don't vibe. Maybe that's not going to be a friend no more. And that didn't happen as much from them. I noticed it was more me. It was more me being anxious. What am I supposed to do? Where's the drink I grab? What are we talking about? Do I laugh now? Do I not? Like all this imposter syndrome, all this shame, all this fear. Imagine of like letting go of something shitty. Anyway, in my opinion.
I relate to it a lot.
And so I didn't hang out. And then I was like, my partner, bless her, she's amazing. She has a very good, impactful social life, meaning she's always in community things. That's her work. She's a nonprofit. She's very involved in making this world a better place. She would encourage me, like, why don't you call so and so and go walk the beach? Why don't you go like tap in? Because I would tell her, you have such a great community. And she's like, and so do you. You should tap in. And I would be like, and so I did. And you know what? I'm so glad I have. That's not to say there's also people that I was like, ooh, Lord, honey, the champagne was making you interesting. There are people like that, and that's great. We've moved on. But there are people where I'm like, oh my gosh, you were great with the drinks. You're great without the drinks. I love you. Like, I'm so glad you're in my life. And I have friends that have told me, I'm so honored that they've told me, you know what? Your journey helped me. Like, I don't drink anymore because of you, because watching you and like, and I'm like, whoa, I'm so honored. So I tapped in.
That's the
I
energy.
had that huge fear though. I would never front. It wasn't them doing that to me. It wasn't anyone. It was just me and myself telling that story. Like, who am I? And that's because that ego thing was gone. I wasn't attaching to this cool drunk person. Like that was gone.
I think probably a lot of people relate with that. I think I'm seeing the shift of society in the drinking and like the club vibe and the bougie. And I feel like I'm seeing it drop a little bit. There was a point before I got sober, I wanted a Louis so badly. And I did. And I
love
would joke, why? I'd rather have, now I try the minimal keys and there's a magnet that sticks to my phone of my driver, but I was asking myself, who am I trying to show? Like it is a bag. They're beautiful. Now I just see it as, I think I see marketing maybe a little more versus like true brand versus being sold, if you will.
Absolutely. The normalization of so many things is exactly why we're so disconnected as a society. Exactly why usually folks don't feel like they have a community, why there are so many things to consume. We're just so disconnected from nature, from Mother Earth, from our people, from each other, from love. Like we're so disconnected from love, just that ourselves, and grieving the loss of who we are as a society. It's because the normalization of like, hey, you know what? You're feeling like crap. You had a long day. Then it's not even just happy hour. That's like one of the things folks have normalized. Had a long day, go online shopping. Had a long day, have this greasy food. Had a long day, you know what? Binge on this, you know,
I deserve it.
everything.
Yeah.
This is like, had a long day. Maybe you should just rest. Like, what about that? Like, letting time pass, just rest. Take a damn nap. Imagine that. No one ever tells anyone, you should just rest. Like, take a nap, sleep, relax. Or, I'm not feeling well. I feel like I need some energy versus like have a coffee or have the Celsius or Monster. Work out, have a walk. The normalization of things, we're up against all odds. And all of us, what we don't realize is that it's all of us, but some of us think due to our proximity to power or our proximity to funds or our proximity to this or that, that we're exempt, but we're not.
Yeah. It's hard to avoid at some point. And I have a 5-year-old right now. I feel like I'm growing up in sobriety with him because we've tried to start teaching him, yeah, hey, when you're angry, like, cool, you feel your anger. I know for me growing up, it was go away, go to your room. Don't be angry in the public area. Like, you go isolate that. You come back out here when you're in a good mood.
So true.
I try to tell my son, like, hey, listen, I'm going to sit here with you and you can be all mad. Now, if if he hits or tries to hit me or something like that, I'm like, that now you're not safe. You can be all angry, but are you hungry? Do you need a nap? Do you need a drink of water? You need to go outside. But I connect it because that's what I do when I feel I'm like, it's 20 years of training of go away. If you're not in your best mood or you're not have something nice to say, don't come to the table. That's not how we're raising our son. And it's cool because you see the authentic when he really enjoys something or when it's, that's okay. But he knows how to sit in his feelings. And that's something I hope the next generation does have because I'm learning with him right now.
It's
And
beautiful.
I tell him, I'm like, I snap, dude. Your Nana is not the same way she was today. So, like, if we're being real, I'm like, Nana would have spanked you and put you in a corner.
Oh.
So, but yeah, it's just very, very different. So, what do you see happening or have you seen over the last 3 years? I've seen, I feel like a shift. You were 3 years sober when you started Namari?
Yes, wait.
Yeah, I feel like that's like that's the where you start to feel like, okay, I can not drink. And like, I think you do learn that, the fear of, and now I'm like, if someone asks me what, I'm like, you don't worry about what I'm drinking. Like, how about you worry about yourself? Like, I don't care. Like, I, I do remember getting chastised and it was so bad that we got sober the week of Thanksgiving and everyone thought I was pregnant. They were like, the only way Rachel wouldn't drink is if she was pregnant. And I'm like, no. And I don't even know if people have to deal with that still, but
People do.
where's that same like thought, like, is the only reason for me not to drink is that I'd be pregnant? Like, I can't just not drink to, but that's the kind I was an alcoholic. I mean,
No, I think
you
that's
couldn't see
society.
Rachel without a drink.
Yeah, like that's who you were, but I think that's society. Like, I mean, if when people said they've stopped drinking, it's always like, what happened? I'm like,
know.
I didn't kill anybody. There wasn't a DU. Like, I tell people like, what I should be asking you what happened that you haven't stopped. Like, you know, it's again normalization, the response from people that like love us too. They're doing their best, but that is what society has normalized. Their response to I've said I'm not drinking and oh my gosh, my family, my dearest little family. Like, why? Like you would have thought I said like
Yeah.
I'm getting rid of like doing something drastic instead of like congratulations. And you know what? I like people could tell me things that they do. I don't like question the why. It's like We have a craving to understand, to then make it okay. And that is a problem with society too. You do not have to understand everything for it to be okay in your eyes. If it is good for that person and that is what serves them and they feel great, then hey,
Great.
congratulations.
Yeah.
But
I'm like, kudos to them.
yeah, I don't need to be like, why did you stop? What happened?
Well, I mean, we get that a lot. So Colin and I, we have the same sobriety date.
Oh,
We're both
cool.
so that people always, what happened? Who went to jail? Who got, I'm like, no. Well, I mean, you have a husband and wife getting sober. Things are like and no, cops were not that day. Cops were not called. And I got loud when I was drunk, and I like to throw things.
Oh,
Was
I
my
love
thing. I
that
would,
too. I mean, that's just, but I've found out that's not just alcohol. That's deeper. Alcohol
but
brought it out.
man, I don't know. I don't think I've got I've
To be rowdy.
thrown, well, nothing like, I'm trying to think of the last thing I threw, and I can't tell you. So it's a good sign.
That is good. Good.
Yeah, no, I can't remember, but I get bursts of anger. I think though with meditation, I try to now say, okay, this is how I'm experiencing anger versus like it has to be my whole identity. I can experience something without being it. So how do you feel in the alcohol-free community? I saw that you guys have like 3 or 4 stores now.
We're in multiple states. We self-distribute. We're not in some, what is it? Some penthouse boardroom or some corporate place. It's us. We're small business. We are doing the thing ourselves. And in the NA space, we share it with all our friends. We share it with the places we enjoy, the restaurants. I, for example, love Californios. It is the only Mexican Michelin rated restaurant, unfortunately. I go to places that, again, it's a whole experience. It's not just what they're serving, but it's what they are doing in this world. And usually we align. And so I take it to places I frequent, and I am grateful enough that those places then want to serve it. They do that. And so we're in bars, we're in clubs, we're in music venues. That's super cool because we both love music. We adore music. Music, something that has held us both in all spaces and places of our lives. We're in, yeah, Michelin rated restaurant. Like I say that because we are everywhere and anywhere that connects with what we're trying to do. And Namari isn't just a non-alcoholic Amaro that was made because there was a trend happening and some investors gathered and decided to formulate something. It happened because there was this person with an amazing culinary background that missed having a decent damn drink that was NA. And so she created it, and then there was this other person that missed having something classy to drink in really great, vibrant spaces that could connect everyone. That's the beauty of some drinks, whether they have alcohol or not, like coffee. It's a ritual. You sip it with other people, you gather. A nice pot of tea, you gather. Whether I drink champagne or not, I'm not going to dismiss the what happens around champagne. Experiences matter. And so the other part of Namari is the experience. Whether your friend drinks liquor, alcohol, or someone doesn't, Namari can be enjoyed by both. It doesn't take out that, if you're having mezcal, you can mix it with Namari. Like it goes beautifully well. That's actually a drink. It's a Mezzimeister. If you don't, you can have a Namari on its own. You can sip Namari over sparkling.
What is your favorite thing to mix it with?
Ooh, for me, I'm gonna have to go because I'm such a sucker. Namari is just amazing. What I love is that everyone assumes what it should go with. And then when I tell them some things, they're like, wait, what? You mix it with that? Pineapple juice goes amazing with pineapple juice, goes amazing. Of course, favorite is always gonna be alone, like by itself. Sip it over ice. Are you freaking kidding me? I want to see like anyone sip anything else over ice like that. Like it's just beautiful. It's like perfect bitter, perfect sweet. It it tastes majestic. But anyway, that's just I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that. The sage in it.
And the bottle is beautiful
It
too.
has white sage in it. How many like real white sage picked from a farm? Like white sage, it creates this beautiful foam to it. I would say that my favorite though, lime. Like just a squeeze I'll squeeze a whole lime with some Namari, shake it with tons of ice, and I have my own vibe. I'm in my own world. And whenever I serve that, I know it's good because the first sip, everybody just quiet. They're like, what is this? So yeah, Namari, I went on a tangent because I got lost in how beautiful and how much care there is. I think that's like a huge thing too, that Namari, there's a story in there. And it's not for everyone. Like and we get that. It's not for everyone, just like usually Amaro is not something everybody drink, whether it has alcohol or not. And so I think that when Namari finds you and you're someone that loves to drink that, you are taken back. You're like, whoa, it's interesting. Right now I'm having it in my iced latte. It's a little iced Amaro latte. I have my Namari in there. Yeah,
Nice.
it's delish. I mean, I could have it with coffee, have it with so many things.
Yeah, that's so I'll kind of wrap it up, but how you pick the fresh ingredients? How do you go about choosing vendors and who you work with?
I mean, we don't change. We have the white sage and our lemon verbena and lavender from our same farm. You know, Brittany thought of these things not just like overnight, didn't just pay somebody to figure out a great recipe. Those were things that came from her culinary experience. She has a great culinary background. And again, that's in its own art. She honed into her art and she made something happen, and we haven't changed anything. There's we don't switch vendors. We don't say, "Hey, this place can make it quicker and better and slick this out of this in." That's just not where we're at right now. When people buy our bottle, they're literally supporting us. They're not supporting a big corporation behind another brand. They're not supporting some corporation that actually focuses on alcohol and just invested in an NA because it's a trend. They're investing in two people that want to make this world a better place and think that just because you don't drink alcohol does not mean that you don't deserve a damn good drink. No booze, but it's all bite. Like it is a good
They'll booze all night.
it
Yes.
is it is damn good. It
Love
is
it.
damn good, and just because there's no liquor, like I'm tired of not having good drinks just because there's not liquor in it. I deserve a damn good drink.
Yes. And it doesn't have to be because you had a bad day. It can be just because you're in the mood for a really good
And it should
drink.
make me feel freaking great. And Namari does. Like, oh, I just had a great meal. Let me have some Namari after. I'm feeling light in my feet. I'm feeling good in my soul. I'm cleansing out any cucaracha energy because I have sage in it. Like, get all the bad juju away. You know, we're doing good things.
I love it. I love it. Well, how do people find you? Can you order it
You can order it online.
anywhere?
Yes, you can support, a small business. It is BIPOC owned, it is woman owned, it is LGBTQIA plus owned. I don't think you can say that about many NAs out there. So you're truly supporting a movement, and we're against all odds here. You can order it on drinknamari.com. You can also find us on IG, Drink Namari. And yeah, I hope we can connect. I really do. I think that we have some beautiful things coming. They're all not with a sense of urgency from a corporate perspective, but a sense of impact. We want to make good things. We want people to feel good when they sip what they're sipping. And we want people to feel the love that we put into things and realize that it's more about what we're making for people and how we make you feel versus another SKU, another marketing tactic to just reel you in and fill another investor's dollar.
100%. And I love that. How did you come up with the naming?
um, so Amari is like Amaros, multiple, and putting the N in front of it for non-alcohol, Amari.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, yes. I'm telling you, when there's like a lot of love behind things, there's some cute inside stories that we always think about, like how do we get these out to people? Again, these things aren't created in some penthouse boardroom with some pressure of 30-day deadline. This is really just me and Brittany like connecting and seeing how the world moves and what we want to make for the world and what people deserve.
That's so cool. And I promise I will be ordering it. Well, we've had a lot of different directions. And we have lots of ways to connect. Is there anything else you'd like to promote or say, or Any message you feel wants to get across on Sober Banter?
No, I think just be kind. Move with love and move with intention and never think that just because we don't drink or we are sober that automatically makes us a good person. We still need to tap into love. We still need to be kind. We still need to care about how we move in this world. Just because we stop drinking doesn't mean those things automatically happen through us.
100%. It's all, I think my word of the day is definitely like intention and going forth with what I intend to do and how I intend to consume it. Because I definitely think I have work to do on that. And I'm not going to lie. I think we all fall into our own little different things, but it's the awakening and the awareness that matter, right?
Or we'd all be floating in the sky right now.
I'm glad I'm exactly where I am, and I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and that's where I learned not to regret my past, because without all of those dominoes, I'm not sitting in this chair right now, and I'm also not gonna think about where I'm at tomorrow because 'cause I'm not there yet. So, yeah, the slow down, the intentions, the pace, I love it. Alright, this has been amazing. Thank you, Eryka, so much for
Thank
coming on.
you.
I will have all links in bios, and I'm already excited. I have a few people in mind. I'm like, oh, I already have a few spots with people in Dallas that I would love to
Oh, that's so
pitch your
sweet.
product
Yeah,
to.
let me know.
I love
Thank
it.
you. I'm grateful that you have that like want to do that. And so I'm grateful. Thank you.
It can be real simple.
Well, I
So,
appreciate it.
again, thank you so much.